Buddha encouraged the skillful, full development of the path, the Eightfold Path, as being particularly informed by right view, right effort, and right mindfulness. He says these three particular qualities, right view, right effort, right mindfulness, they circle around and support, give a proper perspective to the other qualities of the path. So these have a particular importance, particular significance in our efforts at meditation, spiritual training. But of these three, right view comes first, again, as the Buddha said many times. Right view, right understanding. That's the first thing, to be seeing clearly. When we use a term like right view, it doesn't just mean having say correct ideas or ideas that are in accordance with the Buddha's teachings, but it's also and importantly about the attitude with which the mind appreciates its own experience. So it's not just view as in views and opinions, ideas, but it's about a way of seeing how the mind relates to its objects, the patterns of experience as they are known. Now, how does the mind relate skillfully with right view to the world? The inner world of the body and feelings, perceptions, thoughts. The outer world of objects, people, places, things. Well, in his teachings, the Buddha makes clear when he uses the term the world, knowing the world, it's the world of our own experience, the world as we know it. The world built up of seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, thinking. That's the only world that we can genuinely know, is our mind's perceptions, our mind's representation of the world. That's the world that we know, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching. So part of establishing right view, right understanding, is to consider this, to be aware of this, that what we all experience is not the world, but our own mind's representation of the world, our mind's version of the world. Seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, as it's put together within this mind, from this point of view. So in this way, that helps to clarify the fact that the world, as we know it, is constructed, it's pieced together. It's a kind of collage. Seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, thinking. Remembering and imagining is put together to create this particular pattern. And it feels this way. When we take the world to be something solid and real, permanent, we take our perceptions to be an absolute reality, to the degree that the mind says, that's a real thing. That color is beautiful. That shape is ugly. That sound is delightful. That taste is awful. To the degree to which the mind believes its judgments and takes that world to be solid and real and absolute, that's the degree to which we create disharmony, dukkha, discontent in the heart. So if the mind makes the world, the field of experience, into something solid, absolute, permanent, then it creates dukkha. When it sees the world as transient, changing, empty of self, empty of any fundamental solidity, then the heart is free of dukkha. It doesn't create that disharmony. As the Buddha said, if you see the world as empty, as sunya, then you escape the king of death. The heart is free from the realm of birth and death. So in establishing right view, seeing things clearly, it helps us to bring this to mind. This is the feeling of the body sitting. This is the experience of hearing the sound of Ajahn Amaro's voice. This is the physical sensation of the texture of our clothing on our skin. The mood of happiness, unhappiness, clarity, confusion, alertness, tiredness. These are patterns of experience, arising, taking shape, passing away. Patterns of consciousness that arise, take the form of hearing, feeling, thinking, emotion, a mental image, a sound. These are all mental events. They're all known within this mind, within this heart. They're pieced together. They're a collage of different perceptions, different patterns of sense consciousness, arising, taking shape, dissolving, here within this mind. These perceptions of sound, the perceptions of the temple of Amaravati, this body, the temperature, these are conditioned perceptions, formed, arising, taking shape, dissolving. And from these we piece together the world, and me being here in the world. It's a fabricated experience, a fabricated, conditioned collection of perceptions, experiences, woven together in this form. And when we shift the perspective in this way, see things in this way, then we're able to transcend. The heart is able to transcend the world. As the Buddha said, you can't get to the end of the world by walking, but unless you get to the end of the world, you won't get to the end of dukkha. You won't get to the end of suffering. What he means by that, as he said, because in this very body, with its perceptions and its thoughts, there is the world, the origin of the world, the cessation of the world, and the way leading to the cessation of the world. Well, that can sound a bit dramatic, the cessation of the world, like some big atomic explosion, or the earth swallowed up by the sun at the end of the solar system. But it's not so dramatic or remote, far away. Rather, when the Buddha speaks of the end of the world, it's the ending of the solidity of the world. The ending of the mind creating the world as a permanent, fixed, solid thing out there. The ending of the world comes by seeing that the world is empty, void of substance. It's just a pattern of perceptions, a collection of experiences arising, taking shape, dissolving here within the sphere of the awareness that is the very means of experiencing, the means of knowing. So in establishing right view, the heart takes refuge in that quality of knowing, that quality of awareness, rather than tying itself to likes and dislikes, chasing after the pleasant, running away from the unpleasant, believing in its opinions and memories, ideas, plans, fears. The degree to which that the heart takes refuge in that quality of knowing, embodies that quality of knowing, that awakened awareness. There's a knowing of the world and a transcending of the world. We reach the end of the world and we reach the end of suffering, end of dukkha. So in this moment, there's the awareness of hearing, the awareness of physical sensation, the weight of the body on the cushion or the chair. The knowing of thoughts, interpreting the words, noticing the sound, noticing the silence between the sounds. The degree to which the heart embodies that quality of knowing is the degree to which it's free from the habits of identifying with like and dislike, inside and outside, coarse and fine, pure and impure, self and other. A right view is really the very essence of the development of insight meditation. The development of insight, vipassana, is genuinely establishing that right view, right perspective, seeing things clearly. Just as the Buddha said, it's in this very body, with its perceptions and its thoughts, there is the world. The origin of the world, which means the arising of thoughts and feelings, moods, perceptions. The cessation of the world. The empty, impermanent, insubstantial nature of every perception, every experience can be realized, can be known. And the way leading to that ending of the world, the way leading to that clear vision, that seeing through appearances, not being fooled by the pleasant and the painful, the beautiful, the ugly, gaining and losing, comfort and discomfort. The path is that training of the heart, not to be drawn in by appearances, but to know the world clearly, to know, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, thinking, to know emotions of liking and disliking, happiness and unhappiness, excitement, sadness. The more that the heart can know those patterns of experience clearly, without confusion, know them as they are, as transient, uncertain, ownerless, then the heart is free of being born into them, free of limitation by those. If the heart does not attach to and identify with those impermanent and limited time-bound conditions, then it abides in its own nature, awake, aware, boundless, profound, limitless, joyful. And the Buddha described this quality of awakened awareness. He used adjectives like radiant, formless, anidasana, without any kind of manifest form, without any appearance. Anantang, limitless, boundless, infinite. Sabbato pabang, radiant in all directions, or accessible from every side. That's the nature of the heart when it doesn't bind itself to sight, sound, smell, taste, touch, mood, thought and feeling. That's its nature. That's how it is. This quality of awareness that each of us has as the means of experiencing this life. That's its nature for all of us. Yet it's the habits of the heart binding to like and dislike, gain and loss, comfort and discomfort, personality, memory, imagination. Because the heart binds itself to those limited conditions, it seems what we are. I'm a man, I'm a woman, I'm old, I'm young, I'm healthy, I'm sick, I'm happy, I'm unhappy. It creates all those I ams, but it doesn't have to. And if it sees clearly, it sees with right view, with correct, realistic perspective, then it knows all those objects, those identities, those patterns of experience. It knows they're intrinsically empty, void of substance, hollow. Not who and what we are. So as we begin this community retreat time, reflect on this quality of right view, samadhi, seeing things from a clear perspective, realistic perspective, to consider the nature of the world. How solid is it? How personal is it? To look, to explore, see if there's any aspect of experience that is not a pattern of perceptions that arise and pass away within awareness. We say, well, the world is out there. I can hear a plane flying overhead. The plane is out there. But everything that we know about the plane flying overhead is sound, memory, language, put together to say, there's a plane flying overhead, I can hear it. Hearing, thinking, remembering, imagining, put it all together and we say, there's a plane out there flying overhead. Those are all patterns of experience, perception, thought, arising and passing away here, in this field of awareness. So reflect upon the whole field of our experience to establish this quality of right view, seeing clearly, seeing with a realistic perspective. And as right view gets established, clarified, notice the effect that has on how the mind relates to liking and disliking, gaining and losing, comfort and discomfort. See for yourself what effect that has, and let that seeing, let that realization, let the experience of that speak for itself. We don't have to tell ourselves, I should let go, because when things are seen clearly, letting go happens on its own.